Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. Took a little break.
Mm.
We're back. I moved into a new home here, across into a different state. So apologies for missing a little bit of time there, but we're up and running now.
Yes, we are. How you doing, Mike?
Like I said before, we're recording this on Sunday, and literally today is the first day in over a week, which I haven't woken up feeling completely exhausted, man. It's been fucking unbelievable, dude. Just, you know, closing on the house, getting packed up, moving across into a different state from New Jersey. I'm in New York State now, back in New York State, my home state, and
Hmm.
unpacking, you know, moving furniture around, just you name it, man. I mean, we didn't move. We had movers, but
Hmm.
we also had a storage unit in New Jersey that we had to clear out, which
Yeah.
was like a whole other move. I had to rent a 15-foot box truck, and I drove down there and loaded up some more furniture and stuff. And we had this like pump organ that was stored down there, which we moved into the house. And it's like the pump organ's sick. Actually, I used it on the last Tombs record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like some ambient stuff. I'm gonna play around with it more now that I have it in our house here.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so that's like this, very, very big item, and having to it's pretty fragile, and so having to move that into a box truck, and then luckily the 15 footers have a ramp, so we were able to
Mm,
get it up and down pretty easily. But
nice.
yeah, and just the adrenaline dump of all this stuff, and yeah, it's just been a trip, man.
I know. Even finding a house to buy
Yeah,
is exhausting, and
yeah,
it's
dude.
a very complicated and long process. It could take, I mean, for some people I know it took years,
Yeah,
especially like people I know out in Los Angeles.
yeah.
But even here, like it's a process, man. It's not fun.
Nah, dude, it took us about a year to find this place, you know.
Yeah.
But I think we looked in a couple of different towns, but I'm pretty happy where I'm very, very happy where we're at. And it's right on the Connecticut border, so you and I are pretty close. And
Yeah.
it's close to my mom. And there's a Metro North station in town here too, so I can get into New York City. I'm like 100% remote now for my job, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but occasionally I'm gonna have to go into Midtown, so it's doable.
Yeah. So you found some like a lot of times it's a lot of compromise too, to kind of feel like, well, it doesn't have this and this, but you make excuses for why it works for you. I'm kind of going through this process right now myself,
Yeah,
and I'm ready to jump off a fucking bridge. It's such a nightmare. Anytime you find something that you like, someone likes it a little bit more and they have more money than you. And but you just keep going.
yeah, that's all you can do, man. And it's just been a fucking trip, man. And it's just like the whole crash, and just like I said, of the emotional crash of finally moving in and getting everything sorted out. And even when we closed on the house, I was like, this as soon as I left the office of the attorneys, I was just like, fuck, dude. I felt like just like passing out and going to sleep for like the rest of the day.
Yeah, no, well, I know what was going up leading up to that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it was
dude.
it was really kind of like it was like, is this gonna happen?
Yeah, man. It was like a real stressful situation, but
Yeah. Or
we
yeah, I went through a very similar thing right before
yep.
closing. It fell apart.
Yeah,
So
dude. It's
it can
possible,
happen.
man. It can
Yeah.
definitely happen, but we prevailed, which is cool. And yeah, I'm excited, dude. It's got, I'm just trying to get my feet under me now. Like I got just get into some kind of routine here. And I found there's a gym nearby that's like the guy who owns it's buddies with the guy I used to train with in Jersey. So, he recommended me to this place, and it's like I'm gonna probably start going back to the gym to train next week, stop in a couple days so that, all the pieces are coming together again, you know what I mean? So it's that routine will be back, which will, you know,
Great. Yeah. It's necessary. Yeah, it'll like a couple months from now, it'll just, it'll be home and everything is where it should be.
yeah, totally. But yeah, like I said, today I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I'm not completely exhausted when I woke up this morning.
It's those kind of victories that matter.
Hell yeah.
I imagine you haven't had a lot of time to check much stuff out.
Nah, not really, dude. But actually, it's funny. Like with all this moving around, I've been listening to this YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Uh, it's like it's it's kind of throwaway stuff, but I was completely obsessed with this thing this week. It's the channel is by this guy Snook, and
I know
it's
that
like
name.
yeah, it's you might have even listened to it. It's like these weird, completely disturbing Reddit confessions and stuff like that, and stories from
Yeah.
Reddit. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
really disturbing shit. Like, and it makes you realize like how creepy people are usually. You know, how there's a whole underworld of creepiness out there that you might be standing next to some dude who's like a complete weirdo, you know.
Oof. Reddit's very good for that. Seeing how strange the world is when you go on Reddit.
But also
Um,
how also like the just like this internet culture, this like digital world like drives people into these like isolated corners, and all this like negative shit happens, like these people lose their fucking minds, these like weird incel culture and all this other stuff.
I think that's very relevant to the film we're about to
Oh,
discuss
dude,
too.
100%, man. Aside
And
from that, I last night we watched this film called Bay Coven or Bay
hmm,
Cove rather on Tubi, and it's like a made for TV movie.
you've been all about the Tubi, Mike.
Yo, dude, Tubi rules for horror. It's like it's got everything. It's got this is like a made for TV movie. Woody Harrelson was in it. It came out,
Really?
yeah, it came out in 1987.
Oh,
It's
okay, okay.
it's got like six different names. Like it was called Bay Cove on the the interface. But
Hmm.
when you click on it, the title that comes up is Eye of the Demon. So it's like
Okay.
one of those movies with like five different titles that, has been like, there's like a Spanish title for Spanish language. It's like, you know. Yeah, but it was entertaining, man. It was like kind of one of these like the city people moved to a remote town in New England and,
Oh, it takes place in New England.
yeah, yeah. So it has
Oh,
like a
cool.
very, very the story is something you've seen the story before. There's like a cult there. It's like on some undead people, and it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, horror set in New England, it seems like a no-brainer. That's totally my shit, right there.
Yeah. What about
Send,
you?
send, re remind me of that title. Like, you got to text that to me
I
when we're
will.
done. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mike, we haven't talked in a while. I checked out a few things. We watched, we got to mention Sam Neill passed in since we last spoke.
Yeah.
Uh, Amazing actor, very loved by horror fans. He was in some of the best. I mean, Possession, I think that's one of the all-time great horror films. Not to mention, he was in the film I watched, In the Mouth of Madness,
Oh,
which
great
is
movie.
one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. I saw that in the theater my senior year of high school. I think it was a few months right before I graduated, actually.
Yeah.
It was great to see again. It's very sad that Sam Neill is no longer with us. He was one of the greats. Also, out of nowhere, I don't know why, I watched Judgment Night. Oh, I know why.
Oh,
I've been on a Dennis Leary kick because I was
okay.
watching Rescue Me.
Right on.
Uh,
House of
that
Pain.
yeah, yeah, you got Everlast in it. Dennis Leary, like he was kind of like all the rage back in 1993. This is like a terrible 80s action movie made in the 90s with that soundtrack has inspired more jokes than any other soundtrack I know. It's kind of iconic where they took alternative rock bands of the time with hip hop artists and put them on tracks together. So you have songs from people like De La Soul with Teenage Fan Club, which I don't know that if that even makes sense on paper, but I don't know. It was cool to see. Again, I haven't seen it in a long time. Dennis Leary, I think he's a good actor. Like, there's something about him that makes him fun to watch. I don't know if you feel the same.
No, I'm a fan. I like Dennis Leary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like Dennis Leary a lot, man. No Cure for Cancer came out, I think, when I was like a junior in high school or something like that. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
And of course, I, like many people, went to go see the Odyssey last weekend. I saw it in fake IMAX because there's really only 8 or 9 real IMAX theaters in the country. I saw it where I live in the town I live in. It was basically just a big screen. But wow, I was very blown away by a movie I didn't know I would have that much interest in. Like, I'm not really familiar with the Odyssey. I'm not really huge into Greek mythology, but Nolan did it again. I think he is constantly ramping up and just making movies bigger and bigger spectacle. And this is one of his best, if not his best film.
Yeah, I got to see that. And yeah, as you know, I'm pretty keen on Roman and Greek mythology and just, that era in general. So I was looking forward to this movie coming out. And
I think you're gonna like it.
yeah, I'm a Christopher Nolan fan. And
Yeah.
my understanding is that he is going to be making a horror film next.
I did read that,
Yeah.
which doesn't surprise me. And he originally conceived Inception as a horror film.
Yeah, I mean,
Like when
kind
he
of is.
first, yeah, I mean, if anyone will make an insane, great horror film, it's Christopher Nolan. I mean, he just doesn't seem to make bad movies. Even his movies I don't like, I find very watchable. And there's very few of his that I don't like. I wasn't big on Tenet. And as much as I like The Dark Knight Rises, I don't think it's a very good movie.
Right.
Um,
I don't know.
but interesting, The Odyssey kind of has some little to do with the movie we're going to discuss today. The Odyssey has been there was this campaign to by these right-wing grifters on YouTube to get this movie to fail, and they were crying about the casting and this movie's going to be terrible before they even saw a single frame of this movie. And now that it comes out, it's a huge hit and the movie's great. They can't backtrack, so they're like, "Oh, the film is so mid. It's mid. It's so average, and I don't know why people are praising this. That kind of shit."
Yeah.
So it's interesting they picked The Odyssey as an example of a bad movie, and the movie we're about to talk about as an example of a good movie. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, it's an upside down world those guys live in, it seems like.
Yeah, it
But
really is.
but
But
before we
yeah,
go on to further though, I talked about this on yesterday's episode of Everything Went Black, but we lost Lou Kohler from Sick of It All recently.
yes.
And that's like Mike is was closer with Lou than I was, but Lou is definitely a friend of mine. And I didn't meet him through music though. I met him at the comic book shop that Mike and his brother owned back,
Mm,
years ago in Brooklyn Monster Factory. And Lou was part of our Tuesday New Comic Day hangout. And that's how I got to know him more than from going to see Sick of It All and that sort of stuff. So one of the greatest. I know like it's sort of like people always talk about how awesome people were when
mm,
they're gone, but Lou really was like him and his brother were like seriously good guys, and
yeah.
I've been following his battle with cancer, since it started and pulling for him and you know and it's a real sad it's a loss, man, and like I was looking forward to seeing him again someday. Unfortunately, cancer has taken him from us. So that's and his family too. So my heart
Mm,
goes out to his family and his friends, and he had a daughter, and yeah, just sad news. And additionally, Eugene Robinson, we touched on that, and
mm,
his stroke, and I shared the GoFundMe to help him get therapy. So, Eugene to me was a fucking monster, like a giant in the world of, music and writing and journalism and just an all around like inspirational guy to me, to be honest,
yeah.
and a friend. And he's a friend of yours too. I mean, you guys spent a lot of time touring and, you
Yes,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Very shocking to hear that news. If there's anyone who can make a full recovery from that, it's Eugene. I really believe that, and I am hoping
yeah.
for the best because he is a unique voice in this little world of ours, and we need him around. We really do.
Yeah, so if anyone can find it, and I know times are tough these days financially for some people, for a lot of people, for everyone actually.
Yeah,
I posted the GoFundMe across all the different Facebooks, my personal one, the Necro, everything went black. And I think I even put it on the Tombs Facebook page too. So hopefully you guys can find it in your heart to contribute. If not, that's fine. Just like positive vibes, it'll be good. But yeah, Eugene, we need to have him up and running, as soon as possible.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's give a rundown of all the other dudes in the Legion here. So we've got kicking everything off every other Monday. We've got Brandon Legion's Horror Wolf 666. And Brandon and I have been working on our Black Lodge collaboration. We're starting season 2 of Twin Peaks. So stay tuned, go check out both Everything Went Black and Horror Wolf 666 for the action. On Tuesdays, we've got Jackie Smith's Into the Necrosphere. And I've been really enjoying that lately. I mean, I listened to all the episodes, but I really the interview we did with Jason from Psychroptic was very entertaining, I thought. And they have an album that came out this year, so definitely check out the new Psychroptic record as well. Wednesday is the aforementioned Everything Went Black. That's my personal podcast, as well as Iblis Manifestations. Thursday is Necro Thursday, and you're listening to the Necromaniacs horror podcast right now. It is also day one of Soul Knocks, brought to you by Carl Hikara. Friday, we've got Spitball Media. Mike's brother, John Draper, not Scandato, but Draper,
Mm.
is one of the hosts of that show, and it's a irreverent pop culture podcast. Saturday's a day off, so if you're out here in the northern hemisphere, it's summertime. So go out, put your sunscreen on, stay hydrated, all that jazz. Sunday, Carl Hikara returns with day 2 of Soul Knocks, and Carl and I are wrapping up. We have one more episode left of Darkness Weaves, our exploration of Carl Edward Wagner's fiction. But we've also kicked off the savage world of Robert E. Howard, where that's going to take us probably the rest of my life at least to go through all the miscellaneous short stories and material that comprises the pantheon of Robert E. Howard's work. So that's going to be quite an undertaking, and that's the Horseman of the Podcasting Apocalypse, a weekly presentation of top-notch content for everybody.
A lot to keep you all busy.
Yeah, man. Keep you off the streets.
Yeah, yeah. It's important nowadays.
Yeah. We've got a call this week. So if you want
Oh,
to hit us on the Necrophone, you can reach us at 908-913-0782. And we got first-time caller, long-time listener, Nathan.
Hi, this is Nathan, and I'm a first-time caller from Phoenix, Arizona. I've been a long-time listener, and I have to thank you guys for being a source of listening inspiration, especially during the pandemic. Also, I'm glad to have met you, Mike Hill, at the Tombs Abysmal Dawn and Origins show at the Nile Theater in Mesa, Arizona back in 2022. I really enjoyed meeting up with you, and hopefully we can get another chance to meet up again. I'm calling to give 2 existential horror/horror adjacent recommendations. The first is the 2012 novella A Short Stay at Hell by Stephen Peck. A friend of mine recommended it to me last year, and I was able to read the entire novella during a flight from Chicago to Phoenix, and I really enjoyed it. It's a darker take on existence, the afterlife, and religion, and it's a pretty engaging read. My second recommendation is the 2025 film The Stranger, directed by Francois Ozon and based on the book by Albert Camus. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the book, but the movie follows the protagonist who has a detached view on daily life. The movie looks at both morality and mortality from his perspective and gets pretty visceral towards the end. Hopefully you can check these out. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling in, Nathan. Yes, and it was excellent meeting you in Mesa, Arizona. That was a great tour. That was like our first tour back after well, actually, no, it wasn't. It was our second tour. But our first U.S. tour after the pandemic. So it
oh.
was great to be out on the road, and great to finally put a face, and a handshake together. That was great. Yeah, actually, you know what, man? I have heard of A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen Peck, and under your recommendation, I ordered it, so it should be showing up today, and I'm going to read it. It sounds incredible. I believe that I might have heard of that novella initially from Cliff Sargent on the Better Than Food podcast. And yeah, The Stranger film I've not seen, but I'm familiar with the. Obviously, I read the Albert Camus novel. That was something I read like I think in high school maybe, and I read it a couple times over the years. But big fan of Camus' work in general, and that The Stranger is a iconic novel. But yeah, thanks for calling in, man. And yeah, hopefully someday, man. Now that my dwelling situation is figured out, maybe we'll be out there again on the road and we'll be able to hang out, sometime in the future. Mike from Pennsylvania called in, but it's not, just want to say, hey, man, thank you very much. We finally are settling in here, and yeah, New York State is where it's at, man. And have a great weekend.
Yeah, we're very excited here in Connecticut that you're much closer.
Yeah, man. That brings us to this week's feature film, Citizen Vigilante, brought to you
Uh,
by, written and directed and produced by Uwe Boll. Are you
Uwe
familiar with
Boll.
him?
Oh yeah. God, he's been a scourge in the film community
A
for
scourge.
a few decades now. I remember the first time I saw one of his films was House of the Dead. Back in, oh gosh, early 2000s, I think that was. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and everything I've seen from him since hasn't been much better. Have you seen any of his work before?
The only thing I could confirm that I've actually seen by him was Rampage.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
I saw Blood Rain. He made a Lord of the Rings knockoff.
Oh God.
I can't remember what it was called, but like Jason Statham was in it. Uh, he has a way of getting like he got Burt Reynolds was in it. His movies
What,
are
Burt
just
Reynolds was in a Lord of the Rings knockoff?
yeah. It was like a Dungeon Siege or something. I cannot remember, but it was very 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 bad. I don't
Oh
think it's
man.
a matter of taste. I just don't think he's very good at filmmaking. He kind of got this reputation as being a horrible filmmaker. He fought back against this. He literally fought his critics in a publicity stunt where he got in a boxing ring and beat the shit out of people who were shitting on his movies. That's a real thing that he did.
Really?
Yes. So he's a bit, at this point, I feel like he's a bit of a provocateur and a troll,
Do you
doing
think
this
that
in
do you
form of filmmaking instead of comments online.
do you think he might challenge me to a boxing match if I shit on his film?
I hope he does.
Yeah. Rampage actually I enjoyed, believe it or not. Like I know
Hmm.
his reputation is shit, like he's known as the worst filmmaker ever, That's
Yeah.
like, but I actually enjoyed the first Rampage. There was a trilogy of those films.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I thought it was pretty good, actually.
No, he's made a couple movies that have a positive response. I know Postal, when that came out, got sort of good reviews, if I remember correctly. And it seems people were starting to embrace his line of zaniness or something. He had a brief moment there where it was kind of cool to like him, I think. I don't know. He's an interesting guy. Like I've seen a lot of interviews with him over the year, and to my surprise, he strikes me as a very like intelligent, thoughtful guy. You don't get that from his films, though.
Well, we will talk more. We'll get more into this too, because like I've also read some interviews with him, and yeah, I agree with you on that. And part of me is like, man, is this like the biggest, most elaborate troll ever?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And there's a number of reasons why, like the irony of this film was not lost on me too. And we can
Uh,
get into a couple of different things.
yeah.
Uwe Boll is German too, by the way. So we
Yes.
have to mention that because that's he's a European, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we'll get into all this stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's hard to like really pick out where to even start or
yeah,
how to even approach talking about this movie. There's so much controversy around it. Rightfully so. I'm not saying it's blown out of
yeah.
proportion.
Well, let's just run down like, the release information and everything. So it's 89 minutes long. Um,
Jesus, I thought it was like 4 hours.
yeah, somewhere that do you think somewhere there's like the missing 1 minute that will show out as like the director's cut to make it a 90-minute feature film?
It feels like there's at least 80 minutes missing from this
Yeah,
to make it make sense. But okay, yeah,
yeah.
okay, 89 minutes. Wow.
Released June 19th, 2026. So it just came out. I mean, technically it just came out. It wasn't really shown anywhere. It was pretty much direct to rental, or you could watch it on Twitter, Elon Musk's Twitter
Oh
for
God,
free.
yeah.
And of course, Elon Musk loves this movie.
hmm Of course he does.
Yeah. Um, the cast stars Armie Hammer as Michael Sanders. Now, Armie Hammer is also a controversial figure. He was canceled. There was a lot of women. There was accusations of sexual abuse, cannibalism. There's a whole documentary about his family called House of Hammer,
Mm.
and all of his entire family are these like dark, rich people,
Right,
essentially.
yeah. It's funny. I worked an event when I was working in catering, and it was all people who were in their 60s, like the Hiltons, some of OJ's lawyers, and Armie Hammer. It
He was
felt
there.
so bizarre that he was the youngest person there by like a few decades.
Wow.
It just always struck me as odd. Um, Also, real quick, I've read that that documentary about him and his family has been debunked. I haven't seen it. I don't know one way or another. I'm not coming out to defend or shit on that, but I've heard that.
Well, my true. I haven't seen it, so I don't really. I just know that it exists,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
My take on this whole thing is that the decadence of like the rich elite class is on full display these days. You know what I
Which
mean?
is funny, the people championing this film are talk about the evil secret society of Hollywood, and here they are talking about someone who seems to lean into that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's pretty apparent these days, that the elite culture is depraved and decadent and into all sorts of dark stuff like cannibalism and pedophilia and maybe
Right.
even like out and out like demonic worship and things like that.
Yeah, but it's not Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks like they want it to be. It's our president.
Yeah,
And
it's like the real, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, because Armie Hammer is it's his family is involved in industry,
Yeah.
like the Arm and Hammer industry. So it's not like they're not a Hollywood elite group of family. They're an industrial family.
Yeah, people with real power.
Yeah, people with real power, like real masters of the universe. So it's like,
Right.
it's on brand that this guy would tasted human flesh and abused women and all this other stuff. And
Right.
I guess the cannibalism accusations are alleged too. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
allegedly eaten human flesh.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of European people that I don't know, never seen before in this film. We've got Costas Mandylor as the Interpol chief, Desiree Giorgetti as Elsa, Stefan Memikis. He's like one of his managers of this his like real estate business
Oh,
that he has.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Makit Abdul Hamid as Yusuf, someone he murders, one of his victims in here.
Mhm.
And then like a bunch of other people, which maybe this is the only film they might have been in. So
Not exactly an ensemble cast.
yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna straight away say that this film only exists as propaganda and the wet dream of people who invaded the Capitol on January 6th and people who watch a steady diet of Fox News.
Okay, Mike, I completely agree with what you just said. That's exactly my thoughts. But what's strange about it is it's coming from Uwe Boll.
Right.
This isn't like coming from a studio that makes these Christian propaganda films. Mike, we covered one of them a couple years ago,
Yeah.
Nefarious,
Yep.
which had a blatant pro-faith agenda, right-wing agenda, anti-abortion. This isn't coming from one of those studios. This is coming from a German hack director. And much like the character of the Citizen Vigilante, Uwe Boll doesn't really, this isn't some sort of personal crusade for him. This is just very odd coming from him. Almost like he's intentionally courting controversy, and it's working because he's everywhere
Well,
right now.
that's kind of what I was thinking too, because this movie is so heavy-handed in its right-wing leanings, and also like it hits all the hot buttons for these, for these like, right-winger Fox News types. They have all the right terms of like, the woke left and
Hmm.
like immigrants and all this sort of stuff. And it's but yeah, basically, so Hammer plays a guy named Michael Sanders, who's an American, and the film takes place in a European country that's not out and out named, but I'm gonna say that it's Poland because they make reference to Ljubljana, which is a Polish city.
It was filmed in Croatia.
Okay, all right, so I was
And
close.
yeah, and it's funny that it just says Europe across the screen when the film starts. The first of many unintentional chuckles the movie got out of me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, the movie, to be honest, isn't even entertaining, to be honest. I mean, it's like there's,
Yeah,
I mean, there's other controversial films that, people on the left have said have like, oh, this is like, you know, entertainment for the right wing. Like what comes to mind right away is Dragged Across Concrete and like, Brawl on Cell Block H, which are like excellent films, great movies, have a little bit of like, there's a little bit of that leaning.
yeah,
If
oh
you if
yeah,
you squint your eyes and you really are looking for it, you can say, oh well, there's some like inherent biases expressed in that film, or
yes, yeah,
they didn't, it was against some of our principles as like if you're a leftist or something like that, but they were good movies and they're entertaining and there was like
yep.
you were satisfied. This movie doesn't deliver on that level at all. Like,
No, no, not at all. And I like to throw the Joker into that conversation
yeah, the
too,
Joker,
as
yep.
um you're absolutely right. This movie, it was somewhere, I don't even know what the halfway point of this film was. It felt hours long to me. Was why are the right championing this movie? It seems to like, I mean, there's just scenes early on in the film that go nowhere, seemingly have nothing to do with the plot. It's almost like it's like listening to an album on shuffle on your phone. Like it doesn't make any sort of cohesive sense. So you're
Yeah.
right, it doesn't work as a piece of entertainment. And in the first half, it barely works as a propaganda piece because you're like, what the fuck even is this?
Well, yeah, okay, there's a couple of important items here. There's also, okay, there's a big topic of immigration that happens in this film, how immigrants are
Hmm.
destroying culture and society and like, the laws, like the rule of laws are have been defanged by the woke left, and that sort of thing, what I'm trying to say. So it's like, so we need street justice. But
Yeah, and yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the guy who is meting out the street justice is like this illegal guy who entered the country illegally, apparently, right? And like when he's in the office, the real estate office, they talk about how he's actually illegally in the country because
Yeah,
he's
that's
he's been
right.
he stayed there, he's been living there without a visa or something like that for like months, apparently, right?
Yeah,
So he's
Yep.
technically an illegal alien in this country. He's an illegal.
And he kills innocent people,
And
so
he
he's
ki-
very much the person he'd be hunting is
and,
himself.
yeah, and he's an American, like straightening out this like European country,
Right.
for them. It not for, it's not like he's in like Detroit or something like that. Like he's like RoboCop or something.
Right. This weirdly feels like an American, like a film. Like this should have been made by like Alex Jones's studio or something like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. This is like yeah, definitely so like an Alex Jones production or something,
Yeah. But
So
you're really set him up as like this very unsympathetic, unlikable, I get protagonist. And like the director, he doesn't really seem to have a personal he doesn't have a dog in this fight. He's not a family man. He didn't lose a wife, a kid, a brother, a sister. I mean, if anything, he has more in common with Patrick Bateman than he does
yeah,
someone from, say, like Death Wish or Dirty Harry or something like that. It really makes no sense. This guy's just a fucking psycho.
basically. And they talk about how his father was like a military guy, and
Mhm.
the only thing he was proud of him was his military service. So there's probably some sort of like, and they don't even go into this, like there's like some PTSD or something like that. You know what I mean?
I guess that's assumed, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, you can argue PTSD as being like, well, the reason why these guys are coming back from these wars is because they were in these countries for false pretenses, like Iraq and now
Mm,
Iran. It's just American adventurism, basically.
yeah.
And I guess this fits into the American adventurism.
Mm.
It's this American is has illegally living in this foreign nation, murdering its citizens.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh God, yeah, that's basically what he's doing. Not to mention he's also a rich asshole.
Yep.
It's like you couldn't go out of your way to make this guy more unlikable. Like, he wants people evicted right away because he's losing millions of dollars. He gives a prostitute a lecture on mold in one of the weirdest scenes, not only in this movie but in any movie I've seen. Um, there's a couple scenes almost back to back where you wonder what the hell is this even doing in the movie?
Well, it literally is just a collection of set pieces designed for people to react to.
Right. I mean, I didn't realize that the film was being told in a non-linear fashion, and like, did you like? Because right, I'm like, I was confused by what was happening. Like I said, it's like the scenes were placed out of order in the movie. It doesn't feel not like it just feels like scattered.
It doesn't even matter because
No, it really
there's
doesn't.
no you could shuffle all any of these scenes and still come up with the same result, really.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Uh,
There was no real story to tell. There was no character arc. There was no like even the set pieces, the acting was terrible. Like Armie Hammer is like the most wooden, emotion, totally bereft of any, you know, feeling. You know what I mean? Like
he's the best actor in the movie too.
Eddie, well, I mean, yes, and it could be that English might have been not the first language for a lot of the people in this film,
Yeah.
so they're act or maybe they are. I mean, most people do. There's English is very much spoken in Europe, but maybe if you're acting in not your normal language, it might be difficult for you.
That made the movie even more unclear. Like who's an immigrant and who isn't. Everyone's speaking English with an accent.
Well, he's
Um,
he's the illegal immigrant, to be
yeah,
honest.
exactly. You know, a smarter movie could do a lot with this.
Right. I mean, but it wouldn't deliver that same right wing propaganda point, because like it's really this movie is either taking a piss on the whole thing, the whole American right wing, anti woke, anti immigrant posture that the right has. It could either be taking a piss on that,
Mm.
or is literally just bunch of scenes strung together to appeal to people who watch Fox News on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, I think the latter is
Yeah, I mean
is
that's
correct.
probably
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Uwe Boll is a smart enough filmmaker to pull off satire. I mean, this film doesn't ha seem to have an ounce of a brain in it to do something like that. And judging from what I've seen in interviews, I don't think this is satirical at all for him. I do find an element of trolling in what he's doing, but not even he can't even seem to do that cleverly. So yeah, what we have is just a collection of scenes for January Sixers to jerk off to.
Yeah, and there's even like the whole like fantasy that he's beloved and embraced by people in different countries too. There's I don't know if that
Yeah.
was like his website or his some feed that he's looking at on his phone where people are like extolling the virtues of his murderous rampage.
Yeah, the film doesn't even try to like show this guy as a controversial figure every bit, because it cuts to clips on YouTube of people talking about how great he is, people on TikTok, and he's looking at all this. And if between this, it cuts to him making a video, and also it cuts to him, it looks like he's being interrogated. That doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, who is he talking to?
Yeah, it's
And in the video he's making, he's disguising his voice, but he's disguising it to sound exactly like he talks. None of this. I mean, that's one of the things. The attention to detail in this movie is awful. I mean, the scenes. There's so much padding in this. I don't know if you noted, but like every scene is very like stagnant. The raid scene, it takes this police force are driving down the street forever,
yeah.
going up the stairs forever. Everything just takes so long. There's no rhythm to this movie at all. It's just dead flat.
Yeah, that's the other thing, like what you touched on. Yeah, definitely the editing sucks.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the first scene with the mother and the child in the grocery store, you see her scan everything in her bag that she's buying. It just goes on longer than it should, and every scene has that feel to it. It felt like they had like a 70-minute movie, and they're like, wait, we need like a real, like, feature length film here. So, like,
It's
all
like,
right, put all that shit back in.
yeah, and that blood is like some seriously bad CGI blood too.
Yeah, and even like the practical effects, the makeup, everything about this is just poor quality.
Oh yeah,
Um,
even the like the shootout part where the cops like their tactical team come to him, he has that iron wall or whatever.
oh my God,
Like some
yeah.
of the headshots are like you can obviously tell it's almost like trauma style like special effects.
Yeah, that whole scene was preposterous. I mean, I thought I caught that it said SWAT on their vest, which is an American thing.
Yeah.
I thought and they go into this room and they clearly see two machine guns pointed right at them and just stand there and get mowed down.
Oh,
Um,
that's a very Uwe Ball thing with he was actually using two hands to shoot the machine guns
right.
behind his barricade there.
Yeah. And the best part is the commander sends another team right after that, like sending team B. What? They seem to have zero tactical training. Like they're just standing there like this is like a video game. You're just meant to mow them down. It was just so absurd. And that also brings up the point, okay, this guy is the hero of the movie, but he's killing cops. He's killing innocent commuters. He's killing
Oh, the scene where he plays chicken with the guy driving
yeah, to make a point
to
that
make a
doesn't really make much sense at all.
some fucking
Uh,
guy is coming home from work driving his car and this maniac drives into the wrong side of the road just to prove a point to this what the guy was like a judge or something like that.
yeah, that he murders.
Run,
Yeah,
runs this motherfucker off the road, and the guy's car like bursts into flame, and the guy he's this guy just innocent person.
yeah, he did nothing wrong, nothing. And he's dead now because of this asshole, this rich ass landlord asshole. Yeah, he's saying people would rather drive into a ditch than to go in the other lane and break the law. I mean, this is psychotic. What he's saying, it's just so bizarre that this is the hero of the movie. And I guess the antagonist is the Interpol agent.
I mean, the antagonist is the system, man. You know what I mean?
Ah, yeah.
It's like everything is corrupt according to this guy. And but what's interesting too is um all right, what I started thinking about was like the Watchmen comic book.
Hmm.
All right, how and this guy doesn't have any superpowers, obviously, but like the Rorschach character in Watchmen was a bit of a psychopath.
You're right.
You know what I mean? And like, but he's not like that. The Watchmen was written to show the dark side of having powers and sort of the psychosis of people who would be putting on costumes and taking the law basically into their own hands and be
Hmm.
vigilantes. So that's kind of like the same MO of Sanders. Like he's like defining himself, what is right and wrong and illegal, and what deserves the death to be the punishment for these perceived infractions.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a Watchmen style examination of a person like this, I think, would be infinitely better than what we watched.
But that wouldn't serve the narrative, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
The
exactly.
narrative is like we have to destroy society, like all and he had a statement in there about how when he had the family, the Muslim family held at gunpoint, because like this completely fabricated story about these young men raped this girl and that they let him out, and the judge was saying they're the victim. It's like the same. It's like
It's
Death Wish or something like that. Like
it's absurd to the point of comical.
it's absurd and comical that would be the result. Because I'm not a law, lawyer or anything like that, but like I really don't think something like that is practical at all ever. Like I really don't think that's a likely outcome of someone being gang raped by five men.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny that so many people are saying that this film speaks the truth, and they're championing this as some sort of finally someone with the guts to stand up and say what's really happening, which I find more than a little disturbing that people
Well,
take this as a realistic view of the world.
right, and that speaks also to like there's been in New York City you'll the last 5 6 years whatever you'll see it's what's chosen the type of people that are underscored as being criminals is a media selection. Like there'll be these stories of someone getting attacked on the subway. Oh yeah, by the way, they're like an immigrant. Okay,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean that there isn't an equal or greater than number of American citizens that are doing crimes as well. You know what I mean? And Sanders, when he has that family held at gunpoint, the father's like, there's war in my country and we came here to escape the war. And Sanders' response to that is, oh, only the good ones stayed in your country, only the bad ones came here, which is
Right,
like the right wing talking point for decades. Any immigrant that's come into the United States, oh, only the bad ones come here. You know,
right. Yeah, you're
regardless,
absolutely right.
even the Italians when they came over here, or when people that were in my family, only the bad people from Italy came here. Only the Irish that came here were bad. It's not like it's not exclusive to that's the age old blues jam that the right wing has always used to single out immigrants.
Right. No, you're 100% correct. People brought up the Ukrainian woman that was killed on the subway, and believe it was North Carolina by an immigrant. So yes, do immigrants commit crime? Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
these things did happen, but it is used to demonize people and project and to portray a picture that I don't know is necessarily accurate. Well,
So what Sanders is saying that since this happened, that we have to like murder and kick in the doors of all immigrants and put them to death, essentially.
even though he himself is an
An illegal immigrant.
illegal immigrant who murders people because he wants to.
Yeah.
That scene in the apartment towards the at the end, what you were talking is one of the most vile things I've seen on film ever. But before we get into that, I want to point out, you mentioned, the casting of Armie Hammer and the irony. This is what makes me feel like Uwe Boll is trolling by casting him.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah.
I mean, he's like, what's going to piss people off the most? And like he gets this guy who hasn't been able to work in Hollywood for God, it's been a few years now. And of course, he's chomping at the bit to get back there. And I would say this has probably done more harm to his
Oh,
career than being a fucking cannibal or accused of
totally,
being a
dude.
cannibal.
Yeah, dude. No one. He's gonna have the stink of this film on him forever. You know what I mean?
And the really thing that I found um, disgusting is the depiction of sexual assault in this film and the hypocrisy of people who are championing this film. When Armie Hammer delivering lines like to a rape victim that they're going to call you a liar, they're going to they're going to pick holes in your story. These are the exact things that people defend Armie Hammer said. These are the same people that defend our president when he gets accused of sexual assault. These are the things they say. She's a liar. Her story doesn't add up. So for them to turn around and try to use sexual assault victims as a way to demonize people is repulsive to me and gross. And the fact that this is coming out of Armie Hammer's mouth adds another layer of disgustingness to what I was watching.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this film could have been entertaining, and it could have, if a proper film, unless of course it's a troll, which it
Yeah.
very well might be. It like I was willing to watch this movie with an objective eye.
Hmm. Yeah, of
Unlike
course.
unlike unlike some people who identify with being on the left, who just immediately had a preconceived idea what the movie. I went in there being like, all right, I want to open mind. I'm gonna watch this film. How bad could it be? Like, I liked Rampage.
Hmm.
It's like maybe
Yeah.
it's like that. Rampage I thought was an excellent movie, but really this is just a piece of shit. It's either a brilliant troll, right?
Hmm.
Or a completely disgusting piece of propaganda that should be fucking erased. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just aside from its nauseating message, it's a very bad film. I
Yeah,
mean,
sucks.
that scene, like the scene where he goes to sleep with a prostitute has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. And while he's having sex with her, he notices mold, and goes in this long speech about it. Or like the whole scene where he goes to his family's office to rant about people living in his apartments and aren't paying rent. It just meanders. I mean, I guess they try to do this like oh, he's attacking all kinds of criminals. They show him in a bar like drugging these two guys who are trying to drug other girls, I guess to make him more likable. It's not good filmmaking, it's not good writing, it's not good editing. It's ugly to look at. He cannot compose a shot at all. I mean, it's just slop. It's just garbage.
The
And
f- the funny thing about the bar scene with the two guys is I really those guys were like European actors doing American accents, which I thought was awesome. It's funny.
yeah, yeah. I guess that was the closest thing to funny that this movie had. Yeah, and the cop who's like hunting him down is just like sitting there, like watching him. Yeah, they don't really show that angle either, how they kind of found out about this guy. And after there was a raid on his house and he killed a bunch of cops, he's still just walking around in broad daylight, like he's untouchable. I mean, none of it made sense.
Ironically, it would have been great if they captured him. They brought him in on a visa violation for being in the
Right.
country illegally.
Well, I thought they were going to capture him because it showed, like I said, throughout the film, it shows him talking to someone like he's being interviewed. So I figured at some point they caught him, but no. Um, Uwe Boll is very keen to make a sequel to this too. So I guess we'll get some things explained, which again, it seems sort of gross to me. It's almost like, like this guy's like Batman and we're going to see more, adventures of this guy. Like it's something fun.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to create here. Citizen vigilante is supposed to be like the Punisher or Batman or something like that in foreign lands, or maybe they're going to send him back to the States to mete out street justice here too.
Yeah, but yeah, again, I think they did a terrible job establishing this guy as some sort of anti-hero. To me, he's just a serial killer.
Yeah, and not also like he's a rich real estate guy, but he's like kind of he's a slumlord.
Yeah,
He only
yeah,
owns like these shitty buildings in some Eastern European country.
yeah, no vacancy, no matter what. And yeah,
Yeah,
he's a scumbag.
and like that whorehouse was in a building that he owned.
Right, exactly. Uh,
And there was one other aspect too to his slumlorddom is when he's inspecting like the outside of a building or whatever, he's taking photographs, and there's like some damage to the facade of this
yeah,
building.
yeah,
And he goes to the manager. And the manager's like, "Oh, well, should we repair it?" He's like, "No, we can't do a project that extensive on a building like that.
yeah.
Like a facade repair, like it's like no, I want the people that live in this building to live in decrepit, ruin basically.
Right. Yeah. He's incredibly unsympathetic in just about every manner and unrelatable.
He shot up some kids, he killed some kids. He killed like, the guy's sister, who posted something
Yeah.
online. So
Yeah. Oh my
so
God. Yeah.
posting unsavory things online is the death penalty now, according to him.
Right. That like okay, that scene, I guess you could call the scene in the apartment the climax of the film, which I feel dirty even just saying. Um, I think this is the scene that most people have a problem with, rightfully so. Where he goes, well, first he asks for permission from this assault victim to go and do this. He basically coerces her into giving him permission to go and kill these people.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too, is like how is he able to get access to her too
Right.
in
Yeah.
her hospital room? Yeah, he like comes in there and basically like, bothers this lady who was assaulted and is like, give me permission to murder the people who did this to you, and it's just like, how the fuck did he even get in there?
Yeah, I guess like, and you know what's later in the film when she's talking to the Interpol agent, she's like, I talked to your colleague, and you think she's talking about Armie Hammer, but she describes someone that doesn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
It was just weird. So I maybe again they're trying to show this guy as like some sort of Batman figure. He can just get in and out, and you don't really have to explain it, you know? Like, how does Batman just appear? Well, he's Batman. Um, Maybe that's what they're trying to do with this. But he, like I feel like coerces that green light from her, which is kind of gross. And yeah, so he goes to this kid's apartment. He just knows where he lives. He just seems to know everything he needs to know, and pulls a gun on his family and forces him to invite his friends over who took part in this sexual assault, and just proceeds to kill everyone. Like, and again, the scene goes on so much longer than it should. It's like someone walks in the door, he shoots them, and then rinse and repeat. It's, I mean, it would be funny if it wasn't so gross.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like the murder of the sister too, who
Right.
all she did was like, post something online. Granted, what she did, I don't agree with her saying that, well, this woman deserved it. She should be wearing, traditional clothing or whatever. So that penalty for that infraction's death, basically.
Right,
You
right.
just get to
And
shoot up people because you don't agree with the things that they say online.
yeah, which is a little that's frightening that people think like that. Um, yeah, and I agree. What she was saying was disgusting, but the penalty for that is shouldn't be death. And they use like what the parents and the sister say as justification for killing them. Well, like you're just as bad as him. If you believe these things, you bring your and then I mean, yeah, like that scene is just basically gross propaganda. Like you bring your sick worldviews over here and you don't assimilate and you deserve to die.
And in effect, Sanders is doing exactly the same thing. Like he's bringing his sick, twisted Fox News American point of view to this Eastern European country and doing exactly what he's accusing them of doing.
Right. It's like at every turn, like
And he's also in the country illegally, and maybe and I my feeling was that they were actually, in the country legal. Like they were actually, they weren't just entering the country and staying there.
right. Yeah, it didn't really
They didn't
make
really,
any point to clarify that, right?
yeah.
But don't you think maybe a better movie, better filmmaker could sort of make something out of this? Like a guy, an illegal immigrant who's running around killing people that he believes are here illegally doing bad things. I mean, I feel like somewhere in there, like a good filmmaker could make something much more interesting out of this. But Uwe Boll is not that guy.
I think so. But the thing is too, it's like, um, it wouldn't have the propaganda notes that this film has, and that's the thing that I'm confused about because Uwe Boll is German, so what the fuck does he care about what goes on in the United States?
Right. Well, although
And
this takes place in Europe, like I really feel like American right-wing conservatives have latched onto this.
right, well, yeah, but I'm trying to think of his motivation, or
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
or like what, or he's taking a piss out of it, I mean, I know that like in general people laugh at the United States, so it's like, especially Europeans, they see how completely fucking stupid and absurd the things in this country right now are. So maybe it's the only thing I could say is it's like taking a piss out of what, you know, the 30% of our country feels, I don't know.
mm. Like I said, I think judging from interviews with this guy with Uwe Boll, I don't feel like that's the case. He had every opportunity to say, "Look, I'm making fun of you," and hasn't done that. I did watch a few interviews with him doing research for this because we're professionals over here at Necromaniacs. And yeah, like I said, I was a little surprised. Like he seems well spoken and smart and good at 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 like defending himself. And it kind of took me by surprise. I was kind of expecting, like a I don't know, like a little bit more of like a lackadaisical attitude. And it's interesting too how delusional he is. He makes some points. Is like, Hollywood's been spewing out bullshit for a long time, and you're forced to go see it because that's all you got. And he's like, well, yeah, and he's like, I make a real movie, like Dirty Harry, and I'm like, well, that's crazy that you kind of put this film in the same league as Dirty Harry. Like it has some maybe in Death Wish, it has maybe some of the same ideas, but it's not the same artistry or craft.
One of the things I looked into was I was wondering if Ball supported the AfD, which is
Hmm.
Germany's right wing party, because my understanding was that primarily he was like a left wing guy.
Yeah, he was critical of Trump just a few years ago, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I would look into to seeing if he was an AfD supporter. You know,
Did you find anything from
let me
that?
see
Like,
here. Well, I know I kind of trailed off on that whole. Pointing out the Bull stated there is no other choice than to vote for the right wing. Okay, yeah, all right. So Bull has also shifted his politics to the far right. Okay, so he's an AfD. He supported the AfD, which is the far right party in Germany. So he is philosophically aligned with the viewpoint of someone like Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, and related to that, any sort of sentiments towards immigration. So I think what I just said is accurate. So yeah, so this movie's not a satire on any of that.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, but also. Does a troll really have any beliefs at all?
Well, also, yeah, let's think about what comes to mind right away is Vincent Gallo, you know?
Yeah, the ultimate troll.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you read his shit and you wonder, like, is this guy really this fucking conservative?
I can't believe he is. I believe like that guy says things just to fucking upset people. I really
Well,
believe that.
yeah, if anyone like I've followed that dude's career since like
Yeah,
beginning, I mean, he was like, a Lower East Side, like, friends with Basquiat, like one of these like an artist, like very much into like, that kind of liberal leaning type of thing.
right. Yeah,
But now, you read the last 10 years of things with him, it seems like, he's like a Giorgia Meloni supporter. Like when Giorgia Meloni won in Italy, he was like, oh, I applaud the, like, it is like support. He throws support behind Trump. And I'm like, yeah, this has got to be a fucking troll, man.
yeah. I mean, there's probably some elements of like he does. Like, it's the same thing with all these guys. The Jim Goads, the Gavin McGinnises. Like it kind of starts as a joke, and then you kind of become that person.
Yeah. I mean, and for the record, I'm not condemning someone who has conservative ideologies. I mean,
Right, of course.
classical conservatism, yeah, I get it. I have some conservative beliefs, um, when it comes to like, adhering to the Constitution, and stuff like that,
Sure. Um,
um, which is not the case these days with conservatives. They use that
mhm.
term and have 1984 that term into meaning something completely different, you know. But that's not in and of that's not the problem really. The problem is like just this extremism, and now I have to believe if Boll is not a Vincent Gal, or maybe both of them have both Jim goaded themselves into being these like right-wing extremists. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, judging from this film, I mean, he certainly seems to be leaning that way for yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But I did want to touch on the controversy and some of the things people are saying about this movie. First of all, they talk about it being banned in Germany, which I guess is not technically true. They say it's banned. They don't want you to see this film because it speaks the truth. Um, but really, it's a ratings issue.
Yeah.
If a film is released without a rating, it can't be shown in
Yep.
theaters or whatever. So that is why this film isn't being shown, but they are using it to make it seem like this is some, groundbreaking view of reality that they don't want you to see, which is absurd. I mean, this is just dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible movie. It sucks. And just technically it's horrible, right? There's no
Yeah,
net real uninteresting, poorly edited, and it's not being suppressed by the government. It's not being shown because there's no rating on it,
right.
you
Yeah,
know.
and
So
I feel like
it's
that.
not a free speech thing at all.
Right. Yeah, I feel that needs to be pointed out. I also want to say people calling this film dangerous and should be banned. Well, I don't agree with that
No, I clearly don't agree with that either.
at all. Like, you can hate this film, like we clearly did, and I would not recommend you see it, but you have every right to see it, and Uwe Boll has every right to make this film.
If this
And
movie had been banned, I would be speaking out against that too.
yeah,
I would be against anything being banned.
100%. And when people start to say a film is dangerous, you start to get into uncomfortable territory for me. Like, just like when in the 80s with Satanic Panic and heavy metal is dangerous, your kids shouldn't be listening to this, or, video games are dangerous, your kids shouldn't be playing them. It's going to inspire mass shootings. And um, I don't really like to go down that road with, with films, television, any of that stuff. Um, because it could come back on something that you really love and say, well, wait a minute. Then all of a sudden it's just a film, it's just a game. But when it's something you don't like, it should disappear. And I don't agree with that.
And
Um,
also the freedom to explore something yourself too is important. It's like I have
right.
tons of right-wing literature here, and I read it and I understand some of the leanings and understand why they think the way they do, but I don't, it's not of a political standpoint that I have, but I also want to know about things too.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, it kind of reminded me of when Boys in the Hood was released in theaters and there was a shooting and conservatives came out like don't show this in the theater. This movie should be banned. Now it's on the other side. Like this is film is going to spark outrage and violence and it shouldn't be seen. I don't think that's the case. I don't think this film is good enough to inspire anyone to do anything,
No,
to
no,
tell you the
definitely not.
truth. Okay, but yeah, okay, Uwe Boll has every right to make this film. Is what I'm saying, and I don't like it. You don't like it, but it's your right to see it. I don't
I
know why
also,
anyone would like this, but it's your right to
but
see it.
not for nothing. If you're out there and you see this film and you like it, I would be definitely want to track your whereabouts for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, what would you give this as a rating wise?
All right, so this is for me, like we don't do zeros, so it's a one.
Um,
Unless you want to do a zero there.
I have given two films a zero on this podcast,
Okay.
Dashcam and Nefarious, and I'm about to give my third. This has nothing redeemable, nothing, and it's not just the message that it's everything else because we said there are some conservative leaning films I think are very good.
Well, yeah,
Um,
like the mess you can even say that Taxi Driver has a right wing sort of message.
Batman,
Batman, like those films we talked about, Dragged Across Concrete,
hmm
even some of Sam Peckinpah's films, you can say have like a right wing sort of leaning, you know, or Dirty Harry, it's like,
yeah,
and I love all those movies.
me too. I love all of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Cobra's another one that's got like a right wing message, but it's like they're solid movies, and they don't feel like, like a thrown together piece of shit like this movie does.
Yeah, even Eli Roth's Death Wish remake, which was, kind of got the
Oh,
same
that's right.
accusations thrown at it. That's a much better film than this. I mean, that's Taxi Driver compared to this.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, whatever. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I mean, there's just nothing redeeming. To this. I can't think of one positive thing to say. I thought Armie Hammer probably did the best acting job in the film, but he's also not very good. There's just nothing here. Like
Ha-
it's just terrible.
Has he come out to speak about the film at all?
Yeah, he's done interviews and him trying to pontificate on this character is just fucking painful to watch about he saw the character as autistic and I've also read something that he was ashamed of this film and called it hateful
Oh, wow.
and he started to regret it. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but I haven't saw a few things where he had where it said he had regretted taking part in this, but nothing I could find supports that. Quite the contrary.
Hmm.
That the interviews I've seen, he seems very into this. But you're also looking at a guy who has done nothing for the past 3, 4 years, and is just sort of chomping at the bit to go back to his craft. As I think anyone would.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing good in your career, you're not starring in this fucking movie. Like that's just not going to happen. You're not going to see Brad Pitt in Citizen Vigilante.
Brad Pitt and
Uh,
Citizen Vigilante 2.
yeah, exactly. And again, like a movie like The Odyssey is out in theaters now. It's being trashed by the right as woke
Why?
propaganda. There's some casting that they disagree with, and all of a sudden they seem to care about Greek representation when they cast a black woman in a role. They don't seem to care about Greek representation when Matt Damon, who's not Greek, is cast in the lead role. But there's a trans actor in the film as well, and they're in an uproar about it. So they're holding up The Odyssey as a bad movie while championing this, which is clearly not a good movie. I mean, if you like it, you like it. I mean, everyone's taste is different, but I honestly don't know how anyone can look at this and go, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen, haven't had time to see the Odyssey yet. It's definitely playing around here somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
it's worth seeing. You know, I
yeah,
you can't say all right. When I talk about, I'm talking about these grifters on YouTube whose whole like their job is to stoke outrage.
like Nick Fuentes or someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the critical drinker and nerdrotic and people like that, they make their money when you like by selling you outrage. Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm sure if you showed this to your conservative friend, they'd be like, this is shit, you know?
Yeah,
I'm talking about the people online who make their living selling you outrage. Those are the people I'm talking about.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go see it. I've been looking forward to it. You know.
Yeah, it's great, man. If you have an IMAX theater near a real IMAX theater, I would recommend that.
Yeah, there's one down in Westchester, but that's if we were like more settled here and I had
Yeah.
time, I would definitely go down and watch it down there. But I'm probably just gonna check it out in Danbury or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even seeing it on fake IMAX, just seeing it on the biggest screen that you can, that's how I saw it. We talked about going to Providence to see it again,
Oh,
see it in
nice.
real IMAX. Hey, we might even maybe think about talking about the Odyssey on this podcast.
No, I would love to. You know,
Cool.
I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
we should do it. Just maybe something really good to wash the taste of this movie out of my mouth. I'm happy to never really think about this again. This is just an ugly piece of trash.
Yeah, I agree completely, man. And
It's my fault we did this too.
because I brought it up as a joke, actually.
Yeah, yeah, but I was like, yeah, let's do. You know, I just seen something about it on online like that week, and I was like, oh, people are talking about an Uwe Boll movie, like it's the #1 movie in streaming. What is going on?
I know that I would have eventually seen this movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
it's like the same, like I said earlier, dude. It's like I have like tons of right-wing literature. I got all these Nick Land books. I got like
We both
might,
read Answer Me.
yeah, answer. Well, you know, might makes right. You know, I have that in my collection here somewhere. You know, but it's like I don't. That doesn't make me like a Nazi, but it's like I would eventually have seen this film, so I'm glad I got it over with.
Yeah, I have a curious mind too. I want to see what people are talking about and saying you should see. Yeah, I definitely would have seen this eventually. Plus, when I see Uwe Boll's name, you know, I am a fan of horrible movies. I will sit and watch a bad movie and thoroughly enjoy it. Um, you know, I've seen at least 2 of the Sharknado movies.
Dude, yeah,
This didn't even work like that. This just wasn't fun, and it's just bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. We can't recommend you seeing this film, but if you feel like you want to waste 89 minutes of your life, have at it.
And if you like this film or think we're wrong, I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, yes, I would love to hear from you if you think that we're wrong about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, we're civil people. We're open to discussion. We like hearing different opinions. I would really, really like to talk to someone who liked this movie. Like, what did you like about it? How were we wrong?
Oh, real quick. So I'm looking at the cast because I have it in my notes. There's someone, Dora Dimmick Rakkar as raped girl.
Oh, wow.
They didn't even give her a name.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
The raped
Shocking.
girl.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it, I guess.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Bye, y'all.
You got to stop it all around you. Together! Together! Together!